Welcome to the 22nd Annual People Who Care event. I'm Nicolle Laporte, the Board Chair at Transitions and CFO at the YMCA. Thank you for joining us today. Feel free to keep enjoying your meals while I introduce today's focus. For those in the crowd who are new to Transitions, let me give you a brief overview. Transitions has multiple programs that all work to end poverty and homelessness for women and children in Spokane. The Women's Hearth, a daytime drop-in center for women located downtown, where we also house a renter's education program called Road to Renting. Miriam's House, a transitional program for single women. TLC, transitional apartments for moms and their children. Educare, a low-cost, trauma-informed child care center. New Leaf, vocational services and cafe barista job training. And the Homeyard Cottages, permanent supportive housing for women, for families and individuals. We also provide case management support at Cinto Commons, a housing development created by our community partner, Community Frameworks. Out of Transitions' 4 values, we're celebrating respect for human dignity this year. To us, that means that we believe in the dignity and inherent worth of individuals and respect their right to self-determination. So, while you listen to the stories today, keep the ideas of respect for human dignity, human worth, and self-determination at the front of your mind. Before we take a little time for more lunch and fellowship, I'd like to thank our event sponsors. They've been such supportive and understanding partners who truly believe in the worth of Transitions. And before I start introducing everyone, if we can just hold our applause till the end, that would be great. First and foremost, a heartfelt thank you to Transitions sponsoring communities, who are also our founders and the reason Transitions exists today. Sinsinawa Dominican Sisters, Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, Sisters of Providence, and Sisters of St. Francis of Philadelphia. Our signature sponsor is Bill and Mary Murphy. Respect sponsors, Providence, Kalispel Tribe of Indians, and Better Health Together. Justice sponsors, Ware Law Office, Amy and Joe Galloway, Rogue Heart Media, Wagstaff, Move Her, and Phoenix Protective Corps. Our growth sponsors, Garco Construction, Canopy Credit Union, Arcora Foundation, Living Water Lawn and Tree Care, and Catholic Charities. Community sponsors, BECU, Community Frameworks, the YMCA, and Horizon Credit Union. If you belong to one of these organizations or groups, please stand. We would like to give you a round of applause and appreciate the amazing community support that you've provided. Thank you. I'd also like to give a hand to all of our public servants, elected officials, and candidates present. Please stand up if that includes you. Thank you for your service and support for Transitions. There are also multiple homeless service or housing providers here today that we'd like to thank. If you work at a homeless service or housing provider, including Transitions, please stand up. You don't get thanked enough for the incredible, difficult work that you do. But please know that we're grateful for you and proud to be at your side. And thank you to all of you for being here and making this event meaningful, exciting, and successful. Now let's eat and chat for a bit, and then we will dive into our program in a few minutes. Thank you.
All right. Woo, that's loud. Or maybe I'm just loud, I don't know. Thank you everyone for coming to the event today. We've got a great room full of people, so thank you so much. So we're gonna move forward with our program, and aside from welcoming you, I just wanna remind you, as you've already heard, well, actually, I should introduce myself first. So my name is Sarah Lickfold. I'm the executive director here at Transitions, the current executive. Thank you. And as you can see, I'm very famous. There are also past executive directors here in this room, so I appreciate that legacy and that I get to be a part of it. So thank you for returning past executive directors. So as you've already heard, our event theme today is Transition's value of respect for human dignity. And the way we describe that value is on the screen here. We believe in the dignity and inherent worth of individuals and respect their right to self-determination. Self-determination's a tough word, right? At Transitions, that can mean watching someone make what we think are bad decisions and then not acting as savior. It means coming alongside a participant when they're ready, specifically ready, for our help and resources. It means learning and calling people by their chosen names. It means lovingly having hard conversations with the people around us, be it staff, participants, community partners, when their decisions are hurting other people or a program. Respect and self-determination also mean we're in this together. It means we're willing to disagree, to honor each other's decisions, and to communicate when things are hard or going wrong, and when they're going right. We are, each of us, in this together. In our community, I think you've noticed, people are hurting. Business owners, individuals, those experiencing homelessness, poverty, substance use, and service providers. There are a lot of providers in the room right now who are stretched thin in time, resources, operational challenges, HR situations, aspects of service delivery, and the list goes on. I've also been to several meetings this year that included downtown business owners whose businesses and employees are deeply affected by folks experiencing substance use disorder. And there are folks with lived experience in poverty and homelessness whose stories keep them going, keep us going, and give them a level of expertise most of us can never understand. All that's to say, we all have our perspectives. We all have our experiences, our feelings about what happens in our community, and we don't all see eye to eye. But if I respect one person's right to self-determination, I ought to respect another's too. I want to be clear that I'm not saying we should not stand up for our beliefs and intervene when we see a person hurt by another's actions or decisions. We should. Respecting the choices of others doesn't always feel comfortable. We are allowed to live out our values if it doesn't harm others. But in the political and cultural climate we live in, I don't know if you've noticed, we're told that practically everything is either or. You're either with me or you're against me. Right, wrong, left, right, good, bad, hero, villain. And we get caught up in that rhetoric as we face significant, complex issues, crises, like homelessness or fentanyl use or housing affordability. But really, most things aren't binary. Instead of or, we need to start saying and. It can be true that our community's business owners are struggling and people with substance use disorder need compassionate help. The people experiencing chronic homelessness need long-term assistance, and the cost of housing is pushing out middle and low-income folks. It doesn't have to be either this issue or that. I believe that the binary thinking we naturally do as humans is damaging to our respect for each other and our belief in self-determination. Binary thinking is easy. Working through our feelings and thoughts and ethics and problem solving and self-reflection and is hard. People in our community are upset to see other humans suffering on the street, and they react in different ways. This is my trauma-informed lens coming out, by the way. Some complain, some go to whatever extreme in their beliefs about these folks, some give money, some yell obscenities, and the list goes on. We each react in a way that makes me feel better by making me feel something other than pain for my fellow human. Almost anything feels better than pain and grief. It's self-preservation. It happens quickly and automatically, and it's usually easy, and oftentimes related to a binary judgment. We have these reactions working with participants at transitions that we have to check regularly. We've probably all experienced these with coworkers at some point. There are systems, actual systems set up that teach us to think in binary terms. But I'm challenging you all today to stop. Because we are not all good or bad. We need each other's differences to address the multiple facets of an issue, any issue, and we need our passion and compassion to react in a way that also respects the person in front of us. Using non-binary, judgment-free thinking is what I believe allows us to show respect and to honor self-determination. Transitions believes in the dignity and inherent worth of individuals, all individuals, and we respect their right to self-determination. Please join us in that non-binary belief. Thank you. Whew, thank goodness. Whew, okay. Moving on to the next. Whew. Next person can take the pressure, take the heat of these lights. That means Kathy McFaul. Hey, Kathy McFaul, where are you? Come up to the front. She's going to present the Marie Pizzello Award. And before she does that, I'm just going to take a quick moment, just a quick one, not too long, just a quick, to acknowledge Kathy's tenure with Transitions. So employed 14 years, right? But you started as a volunteer before that. I heard the word 17, or the number 17 thrown around, 17 years maybe, no? Okay, well, 14 to 17, around there. So this award she's presenting is for volunteers, and which Kathy started out as a volunteer. And she's built our volunteer program from the ground up and has done it in just such a lovely fashion, that honors the memory of Marie Pizzello, who this award is named for. So just want to thank you, Kathy, for your years. And I have a bouquet for you that I left down there. Let me grab it.
Good afternoon, and thank you. What a lovely welcome to the podium. It is my honor to talk about the Marie Pizzello Award. For many years, Marie Pizzello greeted every hearth participant with a big smile as they walked through the door. Her kind-hearted manner and her commitment to calling everyone by name created this lovely atmosphere of welcome and warmth at the hearth, an atmosphere of safety for folks who didn't experience safety all the time. Each year, we remember Marie and also recognize significant volunteers through the Pizzello Award. The award is this beautiful sculpture, a replica of a work that Marie herself created years ago. Today, we want to recognize the creator of these replicated sculptures, Ginger Oakes, who's in the audience with us, who volunteers time and skills to create these beautiful pieces every year. Ginger, if you don't mind, would you stand or wave your hand so we can give you a round of applause? Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Ginger. This year, it is my honor to present the award to Phyllis Gable. Phyllis has supported us in many ways, including volunteering in just about every way possible at Transitions since she began in 2009. She served on the board, chaired a committee, mopped the floors at Educare, helped out during dinner at Miriam's house, hung out with participants at the hearth, and then jumped in and did whatever else had to be done there, prepared Christmas bags, and organized Mardi Gras donations. Her background was in HR, and she consistently has been willing to share her skills around that area of expertise, brainstorming the best approach in a tough situation, mediating difficult issues. Always she had the goal of getting to a win-win. A staff member was a participant in a mediation with Phyllis, and she says it was so stellar that she's crafted every single mediation she's ever facilitated after Phyllis. I'm sure there's more she's done, but even more significant than the list of ways Phyllis has supported us is the manner in which she offers her support. Here are words used to describe her: thoughtful and gentle, a strong listener who is supportive and discreet, trusted to be fair and unbiased, a woman who brings comfort. She has a gift of building community. She is curious and compassionate, tenacious and capable. A conversation with Phyllis is like being hugged. We are so lucky to work alongside her. Phyllis, it is truly an honor to present you with the Pizzello Award. Thank you. I would now like to welcome to the stage our next speaker, Julie.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Barber, and I stand before you today to share a deeply personal journey. I hope you leave here today with the understanding and importance of permanent housing. The absence of a stable home affected every aspect of my life, leaving me with feelings of hopelessness and despair. Growing up, I was robbed of a healthy childhood. I experienced pain, abuse, and neglect. I was only 15 as a sophomore in high school when one of my teachers made that call to CPS regarding the abuse I was experiencing. After this call, I was removed from my home. Reunification was not an option because my abuser was still living with my mother. This meant my only other option is to live with my father, who was a stranger himself. I ended up leaving my father's home after many disagreements and failed attempts. At the age of 19, I was married and became a mother. I quickly realized that I was not ready to play that role of an adult. I was divorced, a single mom, unable to find steady housing, I became chronically homeless, and in my addiction began. My addiction made homelessness easier. You may ask, what does that mean? It means when it was easier to find places to stay, my kids had more food because my hunger was suppressed. I was able to stay awake while my kids slept safely, and I was stuck in a vicious cycle going nowhere fast. Whew. For many years, I walked a path of uncertainty and instability, but it all changed when I became a tenant. Whoa, at Cinto Commons. The community at Cinto has been a game changer thanks to community frameworks and transition support with case management and continuous help. Permanent housing has been my lifeline, a blessing. It has also restored my dignity and self-belonging. Having a place to call home and having stability has helped me achieve milestones such as car ownership, earning my diploma, job security, improved health, and sustained sobriety. As of August 1st, I am happy to announce that I have 10 years sober. Thank you. The most exciting part of my journey is becoming a licensed foster parent and soon to reunite with and adopt my granddaughter. As I look back on my journey, I am filled with gratitude for the chance to regain my footing, self-discovery, and growth through permanent housing services. I'm living proof of the potential in each and every one of us. That's it.
If my old self could see what I'm doing. If my old self could see what I'm doing now, I know that my old self would be extremely proud to be in a lot of the spaces and places that I'm now in, to believe in myself again. I am Aretha Red Thunder, and I am a community support specialist, helping people find housing and various resources in the community. Yeah. There's a lot of misconceptions about homelessness, not only from my experience, but from various experiences of my clients. There's one individual that was a ultrasound tech. There's an ex-cop. The components to becoming homelessness are not just drugs and alcohol. There's the mental health aspect of it that a lot of people miss out on, and people just need support. They need to know that it's okay to fall. I want my kids to see that no matter how hard things get, that you're able to still ask for help. They can push themselves through hard things, and they can tap into their resilience. So 20 years ago, I was a single mother of two, taking care of my children. I was struggling making ends meet. I had suffered a traumatic loss, the loss of my baby girl to SIDS. And that took me on a spiral into homelessness and into drugs. I had to first be able to identify what I was actually dealing with myself, and then get the help that I needed to get for that. I just needed people that were willing to support me and willing to just listen to me and willing to just believe in me. And Transitions is one of the places that did that. Ted is a person that did that. He humanized my struggle.
We're not assigning human dignity to people. We know they have human dignity. We know that they are brimming with it. Where can we see it? Where has that dignity been told to hide? And how can we bring it back out where it's not afraid of the light anymore? What gives me hope in this work is people like Aretha is a big part of it. Seeing people who not only take that first step of getting a job and becoming economically self-sufficient, but who grow exponentially as humans, and in some cases, like with Aretha, a job where you're giving back to the community now because you're supporting people who are going through struggles that you once went through.
I had a nephew who had passed away about 1.5 years ago from fentanyl. accidental overdose. And it was at that point that I knew that I wanted to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. So I started looking towards getting employed in community work. So my journey with transitions has been working with Ted and working with Mary. They have been coaching me on various skills. They have done mock interviews with me. They've helped me with my resumes. Finding the right supports in the community to help with that was one of the most important parts of my journey, and being introduced to not only transitions but Ted and other organizations that were willing to believe in me and help me along has been so significant in my employment and in my life just as a mother. I'm starting to see that there's a life beyond trauma now.
When Aretha and I first met, she'd already completed the New Leaf barista training program. We were just working on finding a job. With that journey of finding a job comes lots of other stuff, like how are we going to get to and from work with a reliable transportation and driver's license and that sort of thing, and how are we going to balance work life with being a single mom, and how making sure your children are cared for while you're at work. Rather than assuming that we know what people want, ask them what will help them, and then help to provide that. If it takes a week, it takes a week. If it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years. PAC stands for Participant Advisory Committee. And it is a committee, obviously, made up of participants who are alumni, people who have been in our programs. And they meet regularly, do sort of reviews of different program sites, different policies, and give us input as to what changes they think would make our services more effective for participants. And they can speak to that from personal experience.
PAC meetings are very empowering. It gives us a chance to organize. It gives us a chance to give our feedback and our input. It helps me to understand that my opinion does matter. It makes me feel like I have a voice, and I'm able to interact with other like-minded women that have been through transitions. And this journey has just been a journey of healing and self-actualization.
The change in aura and presence of people, like people who come into our programs who can barely make eye contact or speak out loud because they've been so traumatized. And then over time you see them just blossom, and their posture changes, and they have this different radiance and light to them, and they look you in the eye and they speak confidently, and that stuff reciprocates. If you can find it in your heart to be loving and compassionate towards everybody, it comes back to you, and it creates a different worldview for yourself, where you feel more connected with your neighbors.
I feel like people should invest in transitions and other organizations like this, because they're very critical to people's well-being, and people that come from struggle, knowing that they have a place to turn to. People like me and the various people that I help need these organizations. These organizations are lifelines.
We are working every day to help people actually heal from the traumatic experiences that have led them to be experiencing homelessness, and to take kind of suffering and pain and replace it with joy and humanity. We're trying to build a better culture, a better environment for everybody. Supporting us is a way that you can kind of support yourself. It's not a charity for someone else. We're working together to build a better world.
Transitions and other organizations help people to see and understand that they have worth and a place in this community, and that it's okay to ask for help.
My name is Brianna Diltz, and I served at Transitions as an AmeriCorps Vista just about 2 years ago. Now, if you don't know what AmeriCorps Vista is, I don't blame you. Not many people do. But in short, it's a federal program with the goal of building capacity in nonprofits through 3 one-year terms of full-time volunteers. When I joined Transitions, my job was to help give life to an idea that had started years before I joined Transitions. And thanks to a generous grant from the Smith-Barbieri Progressive Fund and leadership that was open to trying new things, Transitions was able to start the Participant Advisory Committee, which you've already heard a little bit about. As a board subcommittee, the PAC is made up of alumni from across Transitions' various programs, and they advise on programmatic decisions. They identify gaps within our services and work with program directors to figure out what's working and what isn't. Our intention in building the framework and starting this committee was to incorporate our trauma-informed practices with our values of respect for human dignity, community, growth and wholeness, and justice in a way where we could develop leadership and invite our alums to share their expertise with us. And of course, a foundational component of such an effort is recognizing that those closest to the issues and those who have been through our programs know how to solve the issues. So now that you have the background on what PAC is and our intent with it, I want to highlight the level of care that it takes to share one's time and feedback. One common thing I noticed is that the folks that joined PAC, this brand new committee that had just been started, did so out of a desire to share their experience and their expertise to help future Transitions participants. So, if you'll join me, I'd like to give a round of applause to the PAC members to recognize their service to Transitions and for being willing to take a chance and help shape something new. And PAC members, you can stand if you want to remain seated. And now I invite Bella Brownlee, the current AmeriCorps Vista, to share what the PAC's currently working on.
Hi. My name is Bella Brownlee, and I am the current AmeriCorps Vista at Transitions. And my role is to manage and support the Participant Advisory Committee, also referred to as PAC. The committee meets monthly to advise program directors at Transitions in an effort to identify gaps within our services. Thank you. PAC has brought forward many excellent ideas to our program directors. A few examples of things that have been discussed are events, ideas for ways in which staff can communicate directly with multiple participants at once, whether it be about upcoming events, participant surveys, chats, and more. Other suggestions are ideas of how we can honor participants in a way that allows for the right to self-determination. The overall goal of PAC is to provide feedback to Transition staff and board of directors. We want to honor the strength and experiences of those we serve. And what better way to do that than to invite them to the table to share their insight with us. One of Transition's values is respect for human dignity, this year's theme. We believe in the dignity and inherent worth of individuals and respect their right to self-determination. PAC is just one way in which we live that value. I would like to introduce you to a PAC alum. Miriah is here to share a little of her powerful story with you today. Miriah?
Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us, Aretha and Julie. Your stories of strength and resilience are truly inspiring. I also want to thank Brianna and Bella. As an alumni of the Participant Advisory Committee, I really appreciate the work you have done to give voices to our alumni. I love that Transitions values the voices of those we serve. My name is Miriah Hapa, and I am the cafe manager at the New Leaf Cafe located in the YWCA. I am also an alumni of the New Leaf Cafe, as well as the Homeyard Cottages and the Women's Hearth. Many of you Many of you may remember me as I was highlighted at the PWC event in 2020. For everyone who missed my story, let me share a little bit of my history. I struggled with homelessness and addiction off and on from the time I was 13 until I was 26. The first time I visited the Women's Hearth was my first attempt at sobriety. I was recently released from the Eastern State Hospital due to drug-induced schizophrenia. I worked with staff on many goals, and eventually I was able to move into the Homeyard Cottages. I lived there about 2 years until I met and moved in with my boyfriend, who I have now been happily married to for 3 years. While I lived at the cottages, I focused on improving my health and taking care of my mind and my body. This was a real turning point in my life. I really learned to love myself and value who I am again. Today, I'm a mother, a wife, a mentor, a role model, and an inspiration. I am so proud to say that I have almost 7 years of recovery. And now I would like to invite you to donate to Transitions and help support women with stories like ours. You will notice that there are QR codes on your table, and it's totally up to you if you would like to use paper envelopes or the online forms. Both have a one-time or recurring giving options. Recurring donations are extremely important to the sustainability of our programs. With your help, Transitions can continue to help women like Julie and Aretha and myself for years to come. Please note, if you choose the envelope option, it is very important that all necessary boxes are checked and you provide your signature. Most of what's on the giving forms is straightforward, like providing your name, address, phone number, email, all the good stuff. Also, for those filling out paper envelopes, please seal them and hand them back over to your table captains or your designee. If you are a table that does not have a table captain, please designate someone at your table to keep track of the envelopes. Table captains, please help us by placing all donation envelopes, even the blank ones, into your 6x9 envelope, seal it, and turn it into one of the staff standing at the exits. Carolyn, Allie, and Joanne, please wave. Hi. I believe most of you already know the drill, but the important part is that no gift is left behind. If you're filling out the online form, there is nothing you need to do after pressing that submit button. Thank you so much for being here today to support Transitions, and thank you for those who are able to donate to such an incredible cause. We also want to thank to today's volunteers, staff event sponsors, table captains, and board members. This work is not possible without all of you.
All right, I have just two last things. First is if you're interested in getting involved in us in any way, we will have staff hanging out outside and have some information for you. And then the other thing that I have is kind of a surprise raffle. So you can see up here there's QR code and Zephyr. So I don't know how many of you are familiar that we now have pro soccer in Spokane. And you may have seen some of the ladies players here today. Ladies, can you stand up real quick? I know they're mostly in the back. So they have generously donated to us for us to raffle off. There are 3 Velocity tickets, 3 Zephyr tickets, 2 Velocity hoodies, 2 Zephyr hoodies, a Velocity hat, and a Zephyr hat. So the way we're going to do this today, which is a little bit different than last year, is we're going to ask for your support in following our new Instagram. So as with the times, we were lucky enough to be hacked. So, right? Perfect timing. So we thought, what better way to do it? So later this week, we will go live on our new Instagram, which is up there, and announce the winner. And we are going to base that off of pick a random person of all the people who follow us. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone. If we could give one last round of applause to all of those who spoke, and to Aretha, thank you. And it looks like I'm going to have you all out of here a little bit early, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for being here.